What's going on, you guys? Welcome to episode 32 of Who Gives a Dram. And on today's episode, we are going to be reviewing a special committee release, the 2021 committee release of Ardbeg Scorch. What is happening, everybody? Welcome to episode 32 of Who Gives a Dram. 32 episodes in, we're on the Magic Johnson episode. Quite arguably the greatest point guard of all time. And the Lakers aren't going to the NBA Finals this year. So, kind of feel good about that, even though I don't really care about the NBA a whole lot. I kind of just try to stick to the Celtics news when I can. But you guys, today's episode, listen, there's one thing that comes to mind on today's episode. Hopefully YouTube doesn't take this down. Dude, that's exactly what I get. We're already going into the tasting notes of the whiskey that we're drinking, you guys, because when I drink Ardbeg Scorch, that's what I get. I drink Ardbeg Scorch and I taste that. I taste that song in my mouth. You understand? But seriously, guys, thanks for tuning into another episode. We have a fantastic whiskey to do today. I mean, we were lucky enough to pick up a bottle of Ardbeg Scorch from our favorite liquor store, Wyoming Package Store. Shout out to my guys over there at Wyoming Package. If you're in the area, if you're in southeastern Connecticut, Rhode Island, go check out Wyoming Package Store. Seriously, the best package store in the area with the best whiskeys. And we had special ordered a different single malt Scotch that I will be reviewing on the podcast at a different time. And they said that they had an Ardbeg Scorch available, and my dad didn't know what it was, but when they told him that it was a very limited release, my dad, being the smart man that he is, picked it up knowing that I would like it. So that is the benefits of being the firstborn. You're still the parent's favorite. So that should prove to my brother and sister that I'm the favorite, because my dad picked up this whiskey especially for me. So I'm happy about that, because this stuff's hard to get, and I didn't understand entirely that this is the committee release. So there's two different releases of Ardbeg Scorch this year, or only this year. It's a limited release for 2021 that was released on Ardbeg Day, June 5th, I think. And there's the retail release, I guess, that's getting distributed, not widely, but more bottles are circulating of a 46% Ardbeg Scorch release. This is the committee release that was released within the committee before Ardbeg Day, and it's bottled at 51.7%. So I believe that's technically cask strength, non-chill filtered. Single malt Scotch whiskey, aged in ex-bourbon cask, double charred, extra crispy. And we're going to get right into this tasting, you guys, because I have already gotten into this with my dad. I posted a Instagram picture of it last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't even remember at this point. And we enjoyed it then. We cracked it open then. Very, very good things about it. I've given a few samples out to some of my close buddies who I know would enjoy it. So a little bit more is gone. But we're going to crack this open again today. I'm actually going to crack it open right now, you guys. I'm going to let it sit in my snoot glass for a little bit. Don't need a lot. 51.7%. But I want to know how everyone's week was. How was everybody's week? I had a good week on my end. Loki is out on Disney Plus, and I know we're not a TV and movie podcast, but we talked a little bit about WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier, I think, on this podcast. I know we talked about WandaVision a little bit. Loki is by far the best show of the three so far. 2 episodes in, it's fantastic. WandaVision was close. Looking back at it, the first 2 episodes of WandaVision didn't even hold a candle to the first 2 episodes of Loki. But looking back as a series, WandaVision is close behind Loki, but not very close. Loki's pretty far ahead. And then Falcon Winter Soldier is just way in the back. That show sucked. And I hate to say that because my boy Bucky Barnes, a.k.a. Sebastian Stan, he's handsome as all hell. And I wish I could say that show was good, but they did my boy Bucky wrong in Captain America, or in Falcon Winter Soldier. And that's disappointing because that show had the potential. But Loki is fantastic. If you haven't checked out Loki, go check it out on Disney Plus because that show rules. And Tom Hiddleston is the perfect Loki. We knew he was a perfect Loki since Thor 1, but like this is almost a character study of Loki, and it just you can tell that Tom Hiddleston was born to play this role, and it's perfect. It's I don't have any complaints on it so far. So I'm glad that they decided to go on Wednesday releases, because Fridays were nice, but sometimes I couldn't get to the show until like the following week because I was just busy. You know, we got shit to do on the weekends. You know, we got to get some work done. Got to get the podcast done. Got to get family stuff done. Got to get work around the house done. Sometimes I didn't have time for the Scarlet Witch and Vision and Bucky Barnes and Sam Wilson and the Falcon. But Wednesday nights I make time for Loki now. I make time for my boy Loki and Owen Wilson's. What is Owen Wilson's character's name in that show? What's his name is his name is Mobius M. Mobius. So redundant. Mobius M. Mobius. Top 5 comic book character movie name of all time, maybe. Yeah, this show's awesome. Mobius M. Mobius. I wonder what like the creator of that character was thinking. Must have been so drunk. Like, hey, we got a new comic coming out. We have a new character coming out in Marvel in Marvel Comics. He's going to be part of something called the TVA, and we need him to be kind of like the head of it, but he needs to have a little bit of a relatable side to him. Probably in the future, like 50 years down the line, we're going to have him cast by Owen Wilson. So based on that information, what should we name this character? And the guy just thinks about it for 5 minutes, has a feathered pen, and then just his thinking, takes his glasses off, rubbing his eyes. And then he goes, drops his pen, and goes, I got it. What's the name? What's the name? Tell us. We're waiting at the edge of our seats here. Come on. Mobius M. Mobius. And then he walks out of the room. I can only imagine that's how that character name went down. I mean, how else would it go down? The guy who made that character was definitely using a feathered pen. Mobius M. Mobius. It sounds like a composer from the 1300s. Owen Wilson kind of looks like a composer from the 1300s anyway. That's appropriate. Owen Wilson kind of looks like Mozart. Really? Does he? I think he does. By the way, speaking of Owen Wilson, we are not even talking about whiskey so far, but we're drinking Ardbeg Scorch. So I hope you guys are drinking whiskey with me, but I watched Night at the Museum 2 last night, and Owen Wilson plays Jedediah. And those are some of the most underrated movies of all time. The first one, the second one, and the third one are all fantastic. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. But those movies ruled. And Owen Wilson looks like Mozart. But yeah, that show is awesome, you guys. I'm already getting into the nose of this Ardbeg, by the way. I want to just jump right into this episode today. I meant to say this at the beginning of the episode, you guys. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, because once I hit 100 subscribers on YouTube, I am going to release my merch store. And I got some really cool merch lined up. I have some sweatshirts, a few different styles of t-shirts, and I'm working on getting some other stuff as well developed. And I'm really excited to release it. And it's going to be a great way to support the show if you want to support the show. Or you don't have to. It's not a big deal if you don't. But I want to hit 100 subscribers on YouTube. So that's my goal. I'm giving a little initiative to everybody to subscribe. It takes 1 second to subscribe. You just literally hit a button. You just literally all I have to do is touch a button for a second and you're subscribed, and you can forget about it. Unless you like the show and you want to be notified when I release an episode, even though it's every single Wednesday. Obviously, because I've been releasing every single Wednesday for months now. So yeah, you guys should do that. You should go and subscribe. And I'm kind of all over the place today. It's early in the afternoon on a Saturday. It's kind of hot outside, and I smoked a cigar last night. What kind of cigar? Oh, I smoked a what's it called? Brick House Mighty Brick House Mighty cigar Brick Mighty. See what it's called. Brick House Mighty. And I've smoked those before. I think they're really good. And I had to pour Blanton's to go with it. I saw my friend Nick Bossy, who does my intro music. He was performing live at a cigar bar, and they had Blanton's for $13 a pour. And this bartender gave us, it was at least a 3-ounce pour, if not closer to a 4-ounce pour. So $25 for a stick and a heavy pour of Blanton's, enjoying some live music. I'd take it every day of the week if I could. So I enjoyed that. But I kind of got I don't know if it was the heat, but I was a bit more tipsy, I guess, than I ever have been after a pour and a cigar. So I didn't wake up with a hangover this morning, but I was tired. So that was strange. Maybe that's what happens when you get old. I am turning 25 soon. So maybe that's what happens when you turn 25, quarter century old. But yeah, so basically what I'm trying to say is my head's all over the place today, but I can't record tomorrow because it's Father's Day. So I do want to say, before we go on with the tasting, Happy Father's Day to everybody. Father's Day, obviously my dad is one of the most integral parts of my life, one of my best friends, someone I look up to. And I'm always happy to spend the time with him on Father's Day, and all the other great fathers out there in my life. My Uncle Big John, my Uncle Glenn, my Uncle Mike, my Uncle Craig, my cousin Seth, Jake, newly appointed father Dean. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody, but yeah, I'm not forgetting anybody. But I'm very lucky to know all these great fathers in my life. But I bet this, one thing I think about, and I started thinking about it more this year, is that this Father's Day and Mother's Day too must be tough for those who don't have a father or a mother. And this is the day that maybe you think about them a little bit more, and they're not there for you to to be with. So, happy Father's Day to those that don't have a father as well, because I know this day must be tough for you guys, and I'm lucky enough to have my dad, but there are several people that don't. So, I hope you guys enjoy this day as well, and I hope you guys, have, make the best of the day despite what the circumstances might be. So I'm lucky to have my dad, to know so many good dads, and I love drinking scotch with my dad. So without further ado, we're gonna start drinking scotch on the podcast, because I got Ardbeg Scorch in front of me. So a little bit about Ardbeg Scorch, you guys. It's like I said, this is the 2021 committee release. It's aged in ex-bourbon casks and what they call dragon charred casks. So they're basically just double charred, extra charred. And when they double char the barrels, it creates cracks within the barrels that the whiskey's aging in, essentially giving the whiskey a little bit more surface area to absorb the wood flavor. So this is going to be a heavily, heavily oaked scotch. And that's exactly what I got from it the first time around. And just having it be an oak bomb. But they call this alligator skin, because there's the oak barrels begin to obtain ripples from that extra char, from the extra crispiness, the burning of the barrel. So there's a lot of reptile stuff going on with this dram, you guys. There's it's called Scorch, and that Scorch is based on a dragon that Ardbeg says comes in and chars their barrels in warehouse. I think it's warehouse 3 that they say the dragon comes in and scorches the casks. It's kind of like a folklore there in ISLAY, and it's awesome. That's why I think of Game of Thrones. That's why I played the song at the beginning, because dragons and Game of Thrones basically go hand in hand. But this is distilled by Ardbeg, guys. It's single malt. No age statement that I can find. I don't know how long this has been aged for. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. I couldn't find it. It's 51.7% ABV or 103.4 proof. So this is what I believe to be cask strength scotch. And we paid $150 for this bottle. And I don't know what the committee release is MSRPing at, but I'm going to assume it's around there. So we're basing it on $150 for the value of the whiskey. So let's get right into it. Let's get this nose done, because it smells so good. And I pulled the notes straight from ardbeg.com for today, to help us determine what we should be smelling. Now, this is the 46% Ardbeg Scorch release, and I'll put a picture of the difference between the committee release bottle and the widely released bottle, I guess, or the other release. So this should be taken with a grain of salt. No pun intended, because Ardbeg scotches are typically pretty salty. That was a whiskey joke. That was a bad whiskey joke. But so we'll see if there's any similarities between the two. So what I get on the nose right away, and I've seen a few reviews on this, and I am going to stray away from a lot of reviews that I've seen. I don't get a lot of peat on the nose. I don't get any peat at all, almost. There's definitely peat there, but you can almost tell that this is a cask strength, because the alcohol is on the forefront, which is I typically don't get from Ardbeg scotches. Typically that peat is their forefront. I'm getting a lot more oak and smoke. I'm not even necessarily getting that that smokiness a lot. It's there. It's very oak forward. I get a lot of brininess. I get a lot of saltiness. Definitely is a reminder of like a maritime type whiskey. You know, that like medicinal, like seaweedy kind of smell. Just not a lot of peat and not a whole lot of smoke. And there's a nice, pleasant kind of dried fruit there on the back. I initially got like a dried cherry almost, but I was thinking it over and I was talking with my dad when we tasted this together. He got dried pear, and then mine started kind of forming to dried apricot. And there's definitely a bit of a cinnamony spice on there, like a sweetness. There's a very pleasant sweetness on the back. The forefront is all oak. It's all that brininess, that saltiness. Not a lot of peat though. If you're not a fan of peaty scotches, I think you'll really enjoy the nose on this. Now, according to Ardbeg.com, it is frighteningly, can't say that word. Got the vocabulary of a second grader. Frighteningly intense soot and smoke. Hints of aniseed and fragrant patchouli. And quench, steel, and saddle soap. So this is a very strange nosing description. I actually don't think I've seen a stranger nosing description before. I don't know what saddle soap smells like, nor do I know what quench steel smells like. But I do get earthy components to this, and I almost get like a There's none of that Ardbeg, that classic Ardbeg. There is some of it, there's hints of it, but it's very oak forward. It's very, I mean, there's that salty maritime type of smell to it. Not a lot of that classic peat, not a lot of that classic smoked meat type of deal. Just oak. You know, some smoke, and then a nice dried fruit sweetness on it as well. It's one of the most complex noses I've smelled. There's a lot going on in this, especially at this cask strength level. That higher proof is letting all of those aromas come out, and it's very, very pleasant. So, without further ado, we're gonna get into it, you guys. Cheers to another week. Thank you for tuning in. Slanta. Okay. I'm getting more of that smoked meat on the palate now. I didn't get this the first time I had this. But the one thing I do get that I got the first time is oak. This is all oak, which makes sense because it's a double charged scotch. It makes sense that oak characteristic, a car just went 100 miles past my apartment. I don't know if you guys could hear that. It has that double charged characteristic to this, to the scotch, so that intense oakiness definitely makes sense that it's this present, that I'm getting it this much. But on the palate, first sip at least, I'm getting that smoked meat as well. Not a lot of sweetness on the palate. Definitely a nice mouthfeel, coats the mouth well. Not getting a whole lot of sweetness. I gotta go in again with it. It's really good. Yeah, more of that. I'm not even really getting that sweetness that I get on the nose on this. I'm getting a lot of like that tar, salty smoked meat. Yeah, I'm struggling to find a sweet note in this, which I'm not complaining about. I mean, I love these Islay Scotches, so I'm not really looking for something overly sweet in this. But with that being said, there usually is a sweetness under a sweet undertone to not just Ardbeg, but all Islay Scotches. I'm just not getting it. Ardbeg.com says we should be tasting an oily mouthfeel with sweet smoke, dragon charred oak, grilled fare, black licorice, and a medicinal lozenge. Sweet smoke, I guess maybe like a barbecue, like a barbecued steak. I can see that, like the sweetness in a barbecue sauce, like tangy almost. This I would, that's an appropriate tasting note for this whiskey. Tangy. It's got a tangy feel to it, like a barbecue almost, but that's really the only sweetness I get. That smoke is there, not as heavy as with a lot of other Islay Scotches, but it's that charred oak, that briny, salty, smoked meat, more so on the taste than on the nose. With a pretty nice finish. Not getting a huge finish on this. It's very good. It's very good. This is a tough one because there's a lot going on, and especially because this is a cask strength, or it's a higher proof, at least 103 proof. It's really letting the flavors expand. And I feel like my thoughts are definitely going to change on this whiskey as time goes by. As it opens up a bit, I feel like I'm going to get different notes as the time goes on, and I'm not mad at that. Right now, this is a very, very oak-forward Islay Scotch. There's not a lot of sweetness to it. There's hints of tanginess. I think that's an appropriate term. And on the nose, there is a dried fruit aspect to it, and a bit of a cinnamon maybe, if I'm getting that correctly. But it's mainly charred oak. It's mainly undertones of smoke, of salty, briny, medicinal, like seaweedy type of feel to it, and it's very pleasant. It's very good. It's very, very, very good. This is probably my favorite Islay Scotch I've had so far, and I said that when I first had it. I really enjoy the back tone of the peat. I like how the peat is taking a back step on this one, and it's really exploring that charred oak. I think it really, really works well on this on Ardbeg Scorch. I think they did a fantastic job. I'm very happy with this purchase, although I didn't purchase it. At $150, I think this is definitely worth every bit of $150. With keeping in mind that it's a limited edition committee release. So if this was widely available at $150, I'd probably say no. But because it's limited edition, I think this is worth every single penny $150 has to offer. If you find this, and I can only speak for this committee release. Now there's going to be two different labels. If you can find this committee release for $150, I would scoop it up. I think it's worth every single penny. I think it's very complex. I think it's a very, very different Islay Scotch. Very different notes than typical. Like with Wee Beastie, this is very different than the other Ardbeg I've had on the show, Wee Beastie, and it's very different than the Lefroy cask strength that we reviewed a few weeks ago. Really in a weight class of its own. This Scotch is. Overall score for this everything coming together into one. I feel lucky to have this. I'm going to rate it a 9.1. Ardbeg Scorch getting a 9.1 from Who Gives a Dram. it's good. That should be the entire review. Ardbeg Scorch, it's good, and it might even be great. So pick this up if you can find it, you guys. I think this is a special Scotch. So, with that being said, I think it's time to head out. I appreciate you guys tuning in to another episode. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Check out Snoot Glass to use the glassware that I use on every episode, www.snootglass.com, promo code WGAD20. 20% off your entire order. Also, check out The Grapevine Media, www.thegrapevinemedia.com. And keep on, you guys keep on drinking whiskey with me. I appreciate you guys tuning in every single week. And I got some fun stuff planned. So, to another week, you guys. I will see you guys next week. Nick Bossy is going to play me out with Pretty New Diamond, you guys. Take care.
Up in New England, that girl sure loved me. We got together and brought things to life. So I did buy her a pretty new diamond, and asked that sweet woman if she'd be my wife. The kind of feeling love songs are made of. With that sweet woman, spend the rest of my life. Before she came along, I was hurting, but at the end of my tunnel, I saw no light. Broke my heart and I can't keep going. Guess I'll just sit here and get drunk tonight. Vows they meant nothing and she ran to a stranger, and with Johnny Walker I'm passing my time. I asked the Lord, what should I do? But I'm too drunk to hear him tonight. So sit with my bottle while Hank Sr. singing. I'm so lonesome I could cry. Gave me back that pretty new diamond and broke my heart a second time. But I got the last laugh when I pawned off her ring, 'cause I bought me a dime bag and a case of Coors Light. I asked the Lord, what should I do? But I'm too drunk to hear him tonight. So sit with my bottle while Hank Sr. singing. I'm so lonesome I could cry. So sit with my bottle while Hank Sr. singing. I'm so lonesome I could cry.